Controlling and disciplining your own brain is probably one of the most difficult yet most important things that make our lives better. Self-control can be an inconceivably difficult assignment. However, to assemble self-restraint is the real key to achieving your goals. But to make this possible, you need to find out some basic mind hacks. In this video, we'll tell you about top 10 brain hacks to master self-discipline. But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel and press that bell icon to never miss an update. So let's get started. Number 10. Opposing temptation. Self-discipline depends not on your capacity to keep away from allurements, but rather your capacity to oppose them. Anybody can try not to stare at the TV in the event that there's no TV in the room. In any case, just a trained individual can oppose enticements while they're gazing right at them. That's the reason such countless individuals battle to keep up with self-restraint over the long haul. You figure out how to stay away from time killers, yet you never figure out how to oppose them. To dominate self-control, train yourself to be useful, regardless of the number of distractors or attempting to take your consideration. You can construct interruption resistance by working in more occupied public spaces, similar to bistros, where getting diverted by irregular stimuli is simple. Number 9. Passionate mindfulness. Emotional self-control is another region where individuals battle. You might experience difficulty controlling your indignation. Perhaps you get energized and burn through an excess of cash on things you needed not bother with. Regardless, care is your most incredible asset. To be careful is to expand your familiarity with yourself. That implies thinking about your activities, focusing in on unambiguous ways of behaving, and understanding on a more profound level why those ways of behaving exist. By rehearsing care, you can pinpoint explicit prompts and enticements in your day-to-day existence. For instance, certain individuals burn through a lot of cash since they're discontent with the manner in which they look. Others lash out constantly on the grounds that they are unsatisfied with their vocations or connections. More often than not, your negative behavior patterns are an indication of a more profound issue. Number 8. Make priorities. Imagine you're having a bustling day at work. You have such a great amount on your plate. You don't have any idea where to begin. In this way, rather than handling quite a few errands, you get diverted. You look for a simpler, more pleasurable interruption, and you fall behind on your work. Assuming this sounds natural, what you want is a rundown of needs. One report that lets you know what's significant, and so forth. Toward the start of your day, or even the prior night, record every one of your errands on a solitary piece of paper. Until further notice, the request for those errands doesn't make any difference as long as you can see everything in one spot. Now that you comprehend everything on your plate, now is the ideal time to orchestrate your rundown. Put everything pressing at the top and everything paltry at the base. Like that, one glance at your rundown instructs you precisely. This need will save you long periods of stress and hesitation. Number 7. Assigned distractions. Many individuals neglect to kill vices on the grounds that their new schedules are excessively revolutionary. You don't have to altogether stop online entertainment or surrender TV. You simply need to put together your negative behavior patterns so they don't disrupt your efficiency. This is where assigned interruption blocks come close by. Put away little pieces of time over the course of the day, held only for time killers and distractors. For instance, consistently at 1 o'clock, you can take out your telephone and peruse virtual entertainment, for you could consider it odd to incorporate time killers into your day, yet it's really an incredible method for working on poise. Whenever you give yourself space to appreciate time killers, you're less enticed to stall during your typical workday. Number 6. Workday rituals. How would you fool your mind into being useful while its inclinations towards being languid? For instance, suppose you're dealing with a significant individual undertaking after work. You have no issue spurring yourself during the average working day. However, you lose all inspiration in the evenings and on ends of the week. Assuming you battle to propel yourself at home, you can fool your cerebrum into taking on a more useful attitude. Essentially, behave like you're going into work. Do similar customs you would before a day in the workplace. Get up ahead of schedule. Clean up. Get dressed and place shoes on. It might feel unusual preparing just to sit at home, yet this straightforward mind hack can invigorate a wide range of efficiency. Number 5. Making obstacles. Do you invest a lot of energy on your telephone over the course of the day? The vast majority of the greatest time killers are effectively open. You can squander hours of your life on games, online entertainment, and different stages without a second thought. So, how would you prevent yourself from drawing in with your gadgets? Make them less open. Make hindrances that substitute your direction. Make it hard for you to utilize your gadgets, and you'll find you're more averse to get occupied. Assuming that you're generally on your telephone, for instance, place it far away from your work area or cover it inside a cabinet. On the off chance that you can't quite perusing the internet on your PC, utilize a web blocker, or basically switch off your Wi-Fi. The more hindrances you make, the more possibilities you get to make more astute, more useful choices. Number 4. Solid foundations. If you have any desire to dominate self-control, you want to lay a solid and steady groundwork by working on different pieces of your life, similar to your rest plan, your eating regimen, and your morning schedule. Every one of these factors adds to your passionate and mental strength. At the point when one of your propensities is conflicting, the remainder of your normal endures. Assuming you have a disrupted rest plan, for instance, controlling your persistent vices is more troublesome. How are you expected to use sound judgment when you're languid and tired? The equivalent goes for your eating regimen and other day-to-day customs, which sway how much energy you have every day. As such, before you can dominate self-restraint, you really want to foster a stimulating and elevating way of life. Number 3. Compose your feelings. What do you do when you're enticed to embrace a negative behavior pattern? Here's a mind hack you can use to stay away from the most enticing time wasters. Snatch a piece of paper or open a clear record on your PC. On the page, record everything you want to do at the present time. To work, what might you do all things considered? You could compose something like looking at my telephone or playing a game. But when you see these things on paper, you understand something intriguing. You would rather not do any of these things. Number 2. Progress decisions. Many individuals experience the ill effects of something many refer to as choice weariness. In profoundly invigorating conditions, similar to retail chains and grocery stores, you are encircled by enticements. Your cerebrum becomes overpowered, and your protection from enticement blurs, expanding your possibilities, settling on a terrible choice. Fortunately, there's a simple method for remaining solid notwithstanding allurement. Whenever the situation allows, settle on choices early. For instance, if you need to restrict your costs while shopping, make a rundown early. Like that, when allurements strike, you can adhere to your rundown and settle on astute decisions. Number 1. Force training. Your capacity to control yourself frequently depends on your capacity to remain on track. As such, if you need to dominate self-control, you really want to work on your focus. Power preparing is a method you can use to fix your concentration and foster your poise. To utilize this method, set a clock on your telephone for 10 minutes. During those 10 minutes, focus on a certain something and one thing as it were. At the point when your time is up, set your task aside and don't check out at it for 15 minutes. Accomplish something different, consume your brain. Then, when your break is finished, put down, set your clock for 10 additional minutes and rehash the interaction. This procedure makes short windows of extreme focus practically like a competitor running runs at maximum speed. You shift back and forth between 100% center and 0% concentration, flipping your focus on and off like a light switch. That is all for this video. Do you have discipline over your mind, or are you struggling to attain self-control? Which of these hacks do you think are useful? Let us know in the comments below.